I have 2 5s. 1, 2. Do you have any 7s? You don't seem to have much of anything, do you? All right. Up until now, we've been actually just kind of continuing on the previous things that we've done, so it hasn't been a huge transition. But starting with this week, we're actually going to be doing things that are quite new to us and very different from anything that you've seen before. So a couple things to be aware of. A, don't be worried, don't be panicked, don't be scared, or anything else like that. But understand that there's going to be times that you probably get stuck, and then the most important thing there is that we get you unstuck. Not just the getting the work done, but also your understanding of the work. So this is where it's going to become a little bit different. On a slightly different topic, confession time, I guess. One of the harder things about being a chemistry teacher is knowing that most students don't take chemistry because they want to, but only because they have to. They've looked at things that they want to do after high school, and chemistry happens to be one of the things they need to be able to get there. And so I know that most people in my class are not headed for a career in chemistry, perhaps not even a career in science, really. So one of the things that I want to do as a chemistry teacher then is something I've always tried to do, is increase the level of scientific literacy and get people to understand something about how science works, the process of science. And I've known it for a long time. But during this pandemic, one of the things that's been more and more clear to me, become really, really obvious, is that we live in a anti-science society where people who should not be listened to are getting a platform and being heard, and people that actually know what they're talking about are kind of pushed to the fringes or ignored or talked over or just not paid attention to. Now, part of the problem is that we live in a society where everybody's opinion is equally valid. And that's okay, except we have to understand that not everything is an opinion. For example, if I say that the best ice cream is cookies and ice cream, that's my opinion. And if you said that, I don't know, mint chocolate chip was the best, you would be wrong. But for the purposes of what we're doing here, that's your opinion and it's equally valid. It's not. Clearly you're a psychopath and your family should not sleep well while you are still on the loose. But for the purposes of what we're doing here, both of those opinions, including yours, even though it's wrong, are equally valid. So we'll say that that opinion is just fine, even though it's not. Okay, but if you say that the Earth is flat or that vaccines are dangerous and unsafe, that's not an opinion anymore, and it's not equally valid to any other statement. The Earth is round is not a statement of belief, it's a demonstrable fact. To say that anything else is like saying that ice cream doesn't exist. I mean, you cannot say ice cream doesn't exist. It does exist. It's delicious, and its champion is cookies and cream. Choosing to believe that the Earth is flat or choosing to believe that vaccines are dangerous isn't your right, because it's wrong. And I know some people are thinking science doesn't know everything. Checkmate. And not really, because science has never claimed to know everything. And what we were just talking about the question wasn't, does science know everything, but does science know the shape of the Earth? And does science know the safety of vaccines? And the answer to both of those questions is yes. Okay, where does the pandemic fit into all of this? Really what it comes down to for me right now is the absolute fire hose of misinformation that's been going around. It's been staggering. I've seen all kinds of claims about ways to treat it, ways to cure it, ways to test for it. And all kinds of these claims have been going around. One of them was that toothpaste, a certain person who was selling toothpaste of a certain type was going to cure the virus. It won't. Or that some kind of silver solution which contained colloidal silver, which has been around for a long, long time, will kill the virus. It won't. Or vitamin C, or zinc. No, strike 3, strike 4, That's not going to work. The best I heard was that taking your hair dryer and blowing the hot air up your nose was going to work. And I really had high hopes for that one. I really wanted that one to be true, but it isn't. There was a test, a diagnosis going around to see if you could, if you had COVID-19. And what they said was if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, that proved that you did not have the virus. I mean, think about it. Holding your breath for 10 seconds barely proves that you can hold your breath. It's not going to work. But for some reason, these people get a platform, these people get listened to, and some of these people are on TV a lot. And the people who should be listened to are missed. The truly amazing part, though, is not the fact that these nutcases are spreading their stupidity, because they've always been doing that and they will continue to do that. The amazing part is how many people have been listening to them. I think those videos have been taken down about people blowing hot air up their nose because the social media platforms are trying to get into the truth game. But they're out there and they will be retweeted and they will be passed around, and you've probably heard some of them yourself. Here's what I need you to do. Okay, going back to the goal of increasing scientific literacy, find good information. And where you find it is probably easier than rummaging through and trying to decide what kind of information is good and what kind of information isn't. So you're looking for things like the Canadian Public Health Agency, in the United States, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, places like that. Put aside any kind of nonsense you've heard about the liberal mainstream media and how they're trying to give you bad information all the time. That's just nonsense. It is baloney. And I want to give stronger language. I want to use stronger language, but I don't know how to bleep this thing yet. So if I can figure that out, I'll probably misuse it. Second thing, avoid passing on information that you see on social media. Some of it might actually be pretty good, but you just can't tell. A lot of it isn't. And I'm going to recommend that you spend some time on a fact-checking website, not just to double-check your facts, but also there's a few that have been sort of tracking the crazies out there, and they've got some pretty cool, kind of entertaining ideas. That's where I got the thing about blowing hot air up your nose. Look, eventually they're going to find a treatment. Eventually they're going to find a cure. It's not likely going to be hydroxychloroquine, regardless of who says what and how often they say it. If you've been hearing about it, in proper clinical terms, it is not showing much benefit, and it's showing some side effects. So it's not likely going to be that. But when we do get there, and we will get there, it is not going to be from essential oils or eating garlic or burning witches. It's going to be from science. To be clear, I'm not advocating the burning of witches. I'm just saying, not so many years ago, that would have been our best idea. And some of these other ideas are not that much better. All right, lastly, thing you've probably heard me say before, use the noodle. Okay? You all know how to do this. Use the noodle. It'll save you.